Will the 49ers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Great time for the video, great spot for the video. Presida Park in San Francisco on this beautiful Friday before I head out to practice and then take off to Florida. Last year at this very time, coming out of the bye week, the 49ers headed to the state of Florida and they put a beat down on the Jacksonville Jaguars. 34-3 was the final score of that game. A fresh 49ers team came out with a reinvigorated defense, and they played a really efficient offense as well. I think that we can expect some of the same from the 49ers in this game against Tampa Bay. First off, the Buccaneers do not play good defense, and they're not going to be rested. They're coming off a short week, overtime game on a short week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Should be a big advantage for the 49ers. Defensively, not much of an edge rush for Tampa Bay. That's a big advantage for the 49ers, and it's just not the same defense that it was when the 49ers saw them even last year, and they put up quite a few points last season. I think they got close to 30 in that game. Deep pass from Purdy to Brandon Ayuk was the highlight for the 49ers, but 2 seasons ago when Brock Purdy made his first career start against Tampa Bay at Levi's Stadium, that was a really, really good Tampa Bay defense. 49ers still lit up the Bucs, and nowhere near that level of personnel for the Buccaneers this time around. So I think key one for San Francisco is to hold serve offensively. And to do that, you play balanced football. You're going to have Christian McCaffrey back in this game. It should be more easy than ever to play balanced football. And that leads straight into key 2, win in the red zone. The 49ers have been, the 21st, 22nd best team in red zone touchdown conversion percentage so far this year. So they've got to get better in that phase of the game, and I think that's exactly where Christian McCaffrey can help them most because he's a space maker on offense, right? You need him to create space offensively, and he can do that, and he could do that particularly effectively in areas where space is limited, like the red zone. So convert yards to points. The 49ers are second in the NFL in yards so far this season, but they are 6th in points. You've got to close that gap, preferably by raising up the level of points, not dropping the level of yards. And if the 49ers are able to do that, I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to have a big role in it because he's had a big role in it over the course of the preceding 2 seasons. Key number 3 for San Francisco, this is looking at the defensive side of the ball, and it's just, it's as much of a key as it is a requirement in this game. Put on a show. Fly around to the football. Play like a team that has 2 weeks of rest behind it coming out of the bye week, just like San Francisco did last year against Jacksonville. So in terms of facing the Bucs, they're down Chris Godwin. They're down Mike Evans. Those are 2 really good receivers. That's 110 catches of production that Tampa Bay has lost, at least for this game. Godwin done for the season, Evans for this game, and I'm not sure how much longer beyond that with the hamstring injury. But this is a receiving core that had something like 2 catches last week ahead of the final drive of the game against Kansas City. Sterling Shepard, especially since Jalen McMillan is hurt now too, Sterling Shepard is probably the best receiver available for Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. So it's an offense that it's going to be heavily reliant on some creatively schemed running for Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. The backs are good, and they'll rotate up the 3 of them into the game. So you got to be ready to tackle, and you've got to be ready to stop the run if you're the 49ers. But even without Charvarius Ward, whose daughter, the funeral for Amani Joy is today. So our thoughts and prayers are with Charvarius Ward. The 49ers won't have him on Sunday. Even without him, they should have an advantage with their very talented young secondary against the depleted Tampa Bay wide receiver room. The leading receiver for the Bucs is the tight end, Cade Otton. So 49ers need to be ready to stop the run. They've added Khalil Davis. We'll see him work into the mix because I don't think the 49ers are going to have Kevin Givens. So Khalil Davis, the trade acquisition from the Houston Texans, should have an opportunity to play right away. 49ers have hung their hat on good run defense over the years, but it hadn't been as good over the past 2 seasons. It's time for that to get better, and it's time to show up and show out against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that my third key, it's an overarching one when it comes to the 49ers defense. It's time to fly around. It's time to look like a top 5 unit. If it was ever set up for the 49ers to put up a big time game, I think it's set up right now against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Key number 4, Tampa Bay, they don't rank in the top 10 offensively. They don't rank in the top 10 defensively, but they do rank in the top 10 on special teams. And this is reminiscent of what we saw when the 49ers played the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas was struggling in 2 phases of the game, but they were number 1 in the league on special teams, and there was big worry that the 49ers, who were ranked near the bottom, would give the game away in that phase. They didn't. They held toe-to-toe with Dallas's special teams unit, and they've got to do the same again. Tampa Bay is ranked number 8 on special teams. They may not have a Cavante Turpin. They may not have a Brandon Aubrey, but it's still a road game, and it's still a game against the special teams unit that's been at least good so far this year, and that could quickly equalize things. The 49ers are 6.5-point favorites, which is a sizable margin in the NFL, but special teams can really, really neutralize things very, very quickly. And, key number 5, and this is one that I don't normally talk about before a game, but I think it's important. It's probably one the 49ers don't have much control over, but come out of this game as healthy as possible. Because here's one thing, the 49ers have not won consecutive games all year long, which is shocking. They're not even they've already passed the bye week at this point, and they've yet to win consecutive football games. You need to start stringing together some success, and to do that, you have to not only win, but you have to leave the win with a good shot to circle the wagons and win again the following week. And that means that you want to leave the win without any significant damage to players who would really be missed if they couldn't play the following week. And it's a game against the Seattle Seahawks that's coming up after this one against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I, put the health key in there because Christian McCaffrey's returning this week. Christian McCaffrey obviously has been dealing with Achilles tendonitis. There is some level of risk, right, to the Achilles involved with playing football, cutting as viciously as he does. So it's going to be really, really important for San Francisco to head on out there and make sure that Christian McCaffrey is preserved for the run following this game against Tampa Bay, not just this week, but the rest of the season. And they've taken the rehab plan for him slowly. John Lynch said that he's proud of how everybody's handled it. They didn't jump to try to get Christian McCaffrey to play sooner this season, even though he probably could have. He told Richard Sherman that he probably was ready for that game against the Cowboys. So now the 49ers have to integrate McCaffrey into the mix properly. They have to hope for some good breaks because a lot of injury stuff, comes down to luck. But it is one of the keys to the game. And it is one of the keys to the season. You've got to win this week, preferably convincingly, and you've got to leave this game feeling good about your health status if you're the 49ers. If that happens, well, then you've got consecutive wins under your belt, straddling the bye week, and you have a chance to win a 3rd straight game against the Seattle Seahawks on November 17th, ahead of a really, really tough 2-game stretch against the Packers and the Bills. So I think next 2 weeks especially are important for the 49ers to gain positioning before then. Anyway, the question is, will the 49ers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? My answer to that question is yes. They will beat the Buccaneers. Prediction is going to be coming tomorrow. Headed down to the facility now. We'll have the injury report from the final practice and much more content coming from you, for you. It's not going to be coming from you. It's going to be coming for you here from San Francisco. Cool spot to check out, Purdy Park, a little hidden park, good cafes all around it. We'll see you soon.